So hello everyone, and this crisis we are going through is also an opportunity to shape our own economy in the future. How we are dealing with the current situation that will help us to think about the future's economy, especially in the field of tourism. Today we are focusing Spain, which has been known for its tourism and the tourism business. Now we are going to focus on how Spain is handling the situation, especially in terms of developing and maintaining the tourism business in the post-pandemic. So here we are welcoming His Excellency.
Hello,
Yeah.
thank you very much
Okay.
for being here.
So here we are trying to understand that how the situation is in Spain as a whole. If you talk about the people coming in, or just you are trying to have the measures from the government side, how they are trying to build the confidence. That is more important because if unless you don't have the confidence, you are not going to attract the tourists,
Yeah.
and they are apprehensive about different issues, especially in this current situation.
Yes, first of all, in Spain, the measures for the travelers are not so tough as in other countries, not because we are irresponsible, it's because we have very good health system and very good system to track the virus. So we are very confident in the people traveling to Spain will be safe, and we have enough measures in the point of origin to go to Spain in order to be sure that they arrive to Spain in a good condition for us health point of view. So we are not so tough as other countries in this sense, but I insist it's not because we don't care about the virus. We care a lot, but we have a very good system to be aware when the virus arrives to Spain and how to deal with it. At the same time, the situation is as in the other European countries. This new variant is a very different one because this variant is spread very quickly, but at the same time, the effects are not so bad as the others. Vaccination makes a great difference. So we have more or less 90% of the people in Spain is vaccinated with 2 doses, and an increasing number of people with the 3rd dose. And we're also vaccinating the child and the youngest. So we are fully aware that we have to pay attention, but at the same time we feel very confident about the possibility of handle this situation in a different way as before. Before, when the virus arrives to our lives, nobody knows how to solve the problems. Now we have an experience, and we are trying to do our best in order to assure all people coming to Spain that the situation is good for them, and the situation is also good for us living there.
Yeah, so recently we have received one notice from CDS, like that Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, that they have put the 8 countries on high risk list.
Yeah.
In that, Europe was also covered, and most of the African countries were covered. Even the Britain
Yeah.
was covered. So after that, how the things, because you have taken measures in the past, seeing those 2 waves,
Yeah.
but suddenly it has after Omicron evolvement, that there is lots of apprehensions, and the government, and how you are changing your own policy and to take more and more precautions that to have the safeguards for the travelers.
Yes. First of all, we have to do a difference because Europe, and we are very happy to be treated as a unity because we are European Union, but sometimes the situation in different countries are not the same. I insist we accept and we defend our belonging to a European Union, and in consequence we are very happy to be treated as a unity, but you have to pay attention also that the differences are important. It's the same thing as in India, so it's not the situation in Delhi or in Maharashtra or in Kerala are not the same, but you are treated as a unity. So this is an important point. At the same time, we are trying to coordinate all the measures in Europe, in the whole Europe. because it's important to know that once you enter in Spain or other countries, you have the possibility of going to all the European countries, and it's very important for us to be coordinated in order not to have differences in our approach to the virus. So I understand quite well the putting Spain in a risk, a level of risk which is not easy to handle, to travel there. But I assure you that the measures in Spain are enough to be sure that travelers there are safe, and we also are safe. So I understand, because it's important to know and to respect the decision, but not to create an anger or a fear about the situation in Spain. Data are important, but it's important to say that these figures about pandemia is because we have the possibility of tracking very accurately which is the situation of the virus, and not because the situation is out of hand or impossible to handle. This is a very important difference also.
So you talked about that very minute tracking, a very depth monitoring system that you have developed.
Yeah.
From there, from the uncertainty to the sustainability, if you talk,
Yeah,
because this is a situation we are uncertain about the things, that how it is going to move.
yeah,
But Spain has been known for creating the sustainable and innovative model of tourism.
yeah.
So how does that policy that has been evolved to create a sustainable tourism, is this affected due to this restriction, or is still going on the same pace as it was planned?
Yes, I think we have to approach this new idea of tourism with a broader view, because it's not only because of the pandemic or we are trying to change to another model of tourism. It's because we want to offer a huge range of possibilities of the reasons for visiting Spain. So at the beginning, we were only a country of beaches and sun. Now we have put in the first range culture also. We have several museums in the world which are the most important, Picasso, Miro, and others. Some European institutions, for instance, Centre Pompidou in France is opening extensions in Spain. So the sustainability of tourism is not only because of pandemic, of the restriction, it's because we have to offer a vast range of possibility for tourists to come into Spain. So sometimes it's very good to have this beach and sun tourism, but we have other things, gastronomy, we have culture in the more restricted sense, theater, opera, and museums, painters, and all these things. And at the same time, if you have this approach, you are getting more people involved in the tourism as a phenomenon, and not to concentrate only in the coast or in some parts of Spain. So the huge country is ready to receive tourists, and in this sense is more sustainable.
Mr. Ambassador, can you elaborate the new strategy of sustainable tourism for 2030 that the government has adopted? New states. Can you elaborate on those points? That what are the key points that in the strategy to reach for 2030?
Yeah, so I think it's important that to take into account that we are in a pandemic. So sometimes to think very far away is not to pay attention to the real situation. So the ideas have not changed. So we want a very huge range of offer to tourists, safe and from a health point of view. but at the same time, we want people to know that Spain is not only these stereotypes we have had in the past. So that's why we insist in these cultural aspects, these gastronomy aspects, that landscapes and environment and these other things. So in this sense, tourism is not different. It's not an isolated case for the approach of the government to the whole development of the country. So we are engaged with the environment, we are engaged with a culture, we're engaged with some sort of new idea of Spain, projecting a new image of Spain. We have marvelous research in the scientific research. We have marvelous literature. We have all these things, and the government has tried to put these things in the first stage. So tourism is not different from this.
You talked about the environment. That is very, very critical at this point of time, especially after Glasgow summit in UK.
Yeah.
So that, and we have heard some news of drought also from Spain. Some
Yeah.
part of areas, some drought, and the level of the reservoir of water that is going down, and some issues were there. So what were the reason that we are facing those situations? How it is not being controlled? Because especially in the developed countries, they have to take measures, severe measures.
Yeah, we must do a difference once again. So we have drought, but we don't have problem of water. So one of the idea of the development in Spain is just precisely to have the means and to have the tools in order to solve all the situations. So we are aware that in some part of Spain there's a desert. It's not a forest. So we have a huge variety of landscapes and realities, geographical realities. But what is most important is, since more or less the democracy came to Spain, one of the most important idea of the successive governments was to solve these situations. When I was a child, a drought means problems of water. Now, not at all. So you have this situation, but you have the means to solve the situation. So there is no cut of water in any city in Spain, no restrictions, not at all. So it's only to know that the situation is produced, but we have the means to solve it.
We have seen the phenomena in the whole world. People
Yeah.
are migrating from the rural area to the urban areas. There is opportunity of village tourism as well.
Yeah.
So is Spain also looking for those potential area where the villages tourism can be developed or can be explored to attract the tourists from across the world?
Yeah, we have done a lot because precisely for the model of development we have in Spain in the past, the central part of Spain is not very, there are not so much people. So there are villages which has been abandoned and there is no people at all. And the government decided to promote not only tourism but also development in these areas, because population is very concentrated in the coast and in the big cities, and we have a huge amount of villages and landscapes and areas, rural areas, to be developed, not only as a destination for tourism, but also as a tool to develop the country. So this government has invested a lot in order to promote these areas, which have everything. So they don't have problem of water restrictions, and the health system is present. So the only thing is to create the conviction that you can go to these places for tourism or to live there. because with the online work, these areas are being people are going again to these areas in order to work because it's easier and they are very comfortable. They are very attractive to live in, not only to go as tourists, but very attractive to live in. So this part of the promotion of this geographical part of Spain is in the plan of the government.
The healthcare system that is very critical at this point of time.
Yeah.
You have seen in the past that suddenly all the countries they have the healthcare system was collapsed. So how we are capable to deal with such kind of crisis or situation? Are we ready really, or we are just at the same point that we were in last year?
Yes, at least for Spain, it's not the same situation as before because we have experience. We had the same system, but now we have the experience because at the beginning we didn't know that the virus was the virus, so it was something like a very serious cold or something like this. But now we recognize the virus. We have the possibility of tracking the virus, and we have a strategy to prevent people of getting infected. But at the same time, when they are infected, there are several levels of sanitary levels in order not to collapse the hospital for the more serious cases. So now there's a huge pressure in Spain with Omicron variant, but at the end, the only system which is under pressure is the primary system, not hospitals with the unit of intensive care and this thing. So they don't have problem at all because they are trying to apply a strategy in which there are several levels, and only the first level of this strategy is now under pressure, not collapse, but under pressure. But we have all the levels to handle the virus and the effects of the virus. So in this sense, we are not happy because the situation is complicated for all, but we are satisfied with the experience we had and the result of applying this experience and the strategy we have decided to apply.
We have seen that after Brexit, especially,
Yeah.
the export business has been affected, especially for Spain. Now, after Brexit, Morocco is taking advantage of taking that space. How it is difficult to bring back that same economy through the export business? Is it really difficult, or it is very challenging in the future to bring the same pace in the export business?
Yeah, I don't think that Brexit has affected Spain especially. So the first country affected is Great Britain. So is the worst effects was for the people who have decided to go out from the European Union. So this is the first point. The second point is that the result in Spain from an economical point of view is not so bad because sometimes we are not very aware in Spain that the political debate, internal political debate, is reflecting outside. So in this moment, as in other countries, the debate is very tough, the political debate, because the crisis of the pandemic lied the spirits. But the situation is not as bad as the internal debate used to say. So our Deputy Prime Minister, for instance, has been elected to FME to tackle with some important issues of the international economy. So it's impossible to think about this if the result of a country and the result of the responsibility of this Deputy Prime Minister, Nadia Calviño, were so bad. No, it's not at all. And with the situation of Morocco, it's true that relations of Spain with Morocco are not in a very good moment, but it's not because of the Brexit and not because of the economic situation. So there are political reasons. international political reasons. So there was a American initiative about Sahara and recognition of Palestinian situation and Israel that in principle Morocco thought that it was important for them to take this opportunity. So for Spain it's not easy because we respect the international law, and it's not clear that the American initiative, President Trump's initiative, is very respectful with the United Nations resolutions and these things. So Morocco think that is perhaps that we don't want to go ahead. We want to go ahead, but inside international law. United States, which are also involved in this situation. Of Biden's administration, President Biden's administration, is in the same position as us. So I don't think that Morocco is taking advantage of the situation, because the situation is not to take advantage of. So it's another thing. It's a political issue. We would like to solve. We are ready to solve because we feel very close to Moroccan people, to Moroccan culture and everything. So it's a little bit sad for us to have this political situation, but we are convinced we will solve it, and it will be in the mutual interest of Morocco and Spain.
Yeah, Mr. Ambassador, it's good that you highlight lots of positive aspects of health, environment, lots of things we have discussed. Now at the end, we are just going through the wave 3 of pandemic, and we are preparing for the Madrid Tourism Festival as well.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, we are apprehensive about the situation is coming in next 2 months or 1 month.
Yeah.
But that is the biggest market for all Latin Americans.
Yeah.
So how you will see that? Is it possible, or we are taking extra measures to have that kind of festival with the safeguard?
So I think it's a little bit risky to speak now about February, because I insist the behavior of the virus in South Africa is perhaps an example. We all hope that will be an example. So the increase is very quick, but at the same time, the decrease of the infections are also very quick. So perhaps it was the same model for the rest of the countries. We don't know. So it's a little bit risky to think about February. The only thing I can say that the engagement of all agents involved in the preparation of this event is strong, and I am sure that will be a success, because if we have the possibility of having this event presentially, it will be a success. But even if we have to do something online or something another way, it will be a success, because all the time we pass with lockdowns, with fear, with this situation because of the pandemics, are fueling a new age for tourism, a new desire of visiting our countries, to visit to each other, and online or presentially, I am sure that we will put the foundations to have a very important increasing of tourism, safer, great amount of travel, because we all as citizens, as individuals, we want to restart to travel, to know each other, and to know our respective countries. So I'm sure that will be a great success in another way, in a way or another.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador. It is nice talking to you, and we have discussed a lot about how the positivity is still prevailing, especially in the time of COVID. So we are expecting that another round of discussion with a different country and different perspective. And thank you so much for watching.